All right there, boys and girls. I'm going to go ahead and do the adding waves. This is the third time I'm trying to do this because the first time I had a bug and had to fix that bug, and that messed things up. The second time, for some reason, I had my microphone turned off, and so, well, we got to fix that. And then now this third time, let me make sure that really I'm getting microphone sound here. I sure hope so. I better be, or I'm going to be super disappointed. So these are the variables related to our waves. I'm assuming that you've already moved all of your images, your audio, all that stuff. I'm assuming you've already moved all that over. One of the first things we need to do here is we're not going to be making 5 waves. We're going to be making 3 waves. And what is this even going to look like? So the demo here, let me shrink the screen a little bit. I run the demo and I press my G key. Here comes the wave number. And if I die, press the G key, comes up again. The wave number plays again. Now, if I can get lucky, I haven't been able to get lucky in any of these attempts here, and I've only got 1 life left now. Finish him. I'm on the last enemy. Ah, awesome. We'll get to see wave 2. Press the G key, wave 2. Now I've only got 1 life left, and there's just no way I'm going to beat this thing all 5 waves, because this one's got 5 waves. You guys, on the other hand, are only going to have to do 3 waves. Ooh, wrong direction, Booth. Right direction, Booth. So we're making 3 waves. You've seen what it looks like. This variable wave, it's going to keep track of what our current wave number is. The game starts on wave 1. Our wave delay is going to be 10 milliseconds. When we set up our play wave number timer, when we start that timer, its delay is going to be 10 milliseconds. That means its frame rate is going to be 100 frames per second. Pretty fast frame rate for that. Our vehicle image width is 300. Vehicle image height is 200. We're going to start our size of our image at 1/10 of full size. And we're also going to set our image's current size to the start size. And then each frame, we're going to increase that current size just a little bit till it gets to the finished size. When it gets to the finished size, we're going to stop the timer and a couple other house cleaning tasks. And this variable represents the individual wave image at any frame where we're running the wave image during the play wave number timer. And each of these are just my placeholder links to the wave numbers. There's wave 1, wave 2, and so on and so forth. Wave 3. You guys are going to be expected to create your own wave number graphics. What's the size going to be? Width, 300. Height, 200. And it'll just drop right in and work with my code the way my code's set up. Those are the variables. Any questions about the variables, class? All right. Now, where this is going to begin is in the G key. So I'm just going to collapse all those till I get down to to the key down method. And the G key is where all the fun is going to begin, is down here in the G key. And we're going to, at the very end of, this is all the code that executes when the G key runs. It's in between its opening and closing curly braces. At the very end of that code, I'm going to hit a couple of enter keys and put in a comment. And we're going to start the play wave number timer. And it's set timer. And we're going to set that timer to call the play wave number using the wave delay. Now, because so many of you love to break your curly braces, this is a good spot to hit your run button and make sure that you didn't break a curly brace here, because I could see some of you breaking this curly brace right here. If you broke that curly brace, like I just did right now, you're going to get a syntax error, and it's probably going to be because you killed that curly brace. Put that curly brace back, everything's good. Okay, I know what's going on. All right. Now, that's going to turn on the play wave number timer. But there's a few other things we can take care of while we're here. Housekeeping. Like right here when we get a Y key. This is the point in the game where we're going to want to play again. If we cleared some waves, some variables need to get reset. If we cleared some waves. One of those variables that'll need to be reset is wave. If we decide to play the game again, wave's got to get set back to 1. And then there are 2 variables from our previous lesson that are supposed to be here, but Mr. Booth forgot to add them to the starter code. Does anybody remember what those 2 variables are that are supposed to be here? Yeah, got win. What's it supposed to be equal to? False. Awesome. And what's the other one? Got lose. And that's also supposed to be set to false, right? Not flas. False. Not to be confused with got milk. All right. Now, that's kind of nice. That's going to take care of our Y key. Our Y key is all set up. I won't have to come back and revisit that later. I've got that code already snuck in there and set to run. So I could collapse my Y key if I wanted to. And I can collapse my N key and it'll make it easier. Now, here's the play wave number function. This is where we're going to spend a good deal of time right now, adding the code to the play wave number function. So in here, instead of having this comment, you will add all the code here. And, you know, guys, a bit of a strategy here. You know, the comments, could you go back later and watch the video and get the comments done? You could, couldn't you? So put in the spot for the comments and maybe put in the first word, remove. And, you know, the whole comment actually is remove previous image if it exists. I'm going to type all my comments out. But to save yourself, you know, unless you feel like you've got the time to type it, because you really want to focus on getting the code typed. That's what's really important here during the live performance here in class. So this will be an if statement. I love this, if I type CURR, it's suggesting to me current wave image, and that is exactly what I want. So CURR gets me what I want. If my current wave image is not equal to, if I type NU, the Monaco editor will type null for me. If my current wave image is not equal to null, opening curly, closing curly. Now I'm going to get inside the curly braces here. I want to remove that current wave image. That's my first move here in the play wave number function. Now my second move here in the play wave number function would be then set the correct wave image. I'm going to handle wave 1. This will be an if wave is equal to 1, open a curly, close a curly. If wave is equal to 1, my current wave image will be equal to wave 1 image. I'm going to recycle lines 377 to line 380. I'm going to recycle them to handle wave 2 and handle wave 3. But I'm going to change the if into an else if. So I'm going to recycle lines 377 to 380 for wave 2 and wave 3, but I'll change the if to an else if. Here's what I mean. I'm going to recycle them. I'll copy all 4 of those lines, paste them, and let's see. If wave, handle wave 2, if wave is equal to 2, the wave image I want is wave image 2, and I said make this a else if. Now I will recycle these 4 lines of code, and I have less to change on this recycle. All I got to do now is change the 2s to 3s, not to 4s, Booth. There we go. That's my second move. My second move here, setting the correct image. We're halfway done with the play wave number function. Maybe 2/5. 2/5. We're 2/5 of the way done with the play wave number function. Now that I've decided which image I'm going to use, I want to place the image on the screen. It means I'm going to have to set its size, set its position, and then add it to the screen. Again, I love that I typed CURR and it's already telling me, it's giving me what I want, my current wave image, dot. I typed set S, the Monaco editor is suggesting set size. I'll let the Monaco editor type for me as much as I possibly can. And the size I'm going to set it to is my wave image width. See, I typed wave I, and then I'm going to select from my list my wave image width multiplied by my, again, I'll type wave I, wave image current size. Give me back my real estate. Comma. My wave image height times my wave image current size. Now that sets its size. On the next line, I want to set its position. This is going to be a very ugly line of code. It'll be the middle width, subtract my current wave image dot get width divided by 2. That's going to be its X position. And my middle height minus my current wave image dot get height divided by 2. Like I said, it's a beast of a line of code. This is going to dynamically change the size of the image each frame. Each frame, we set the size to a little bit bigger than the previous frame. And we're also slightly changing our X and Y positions to accommodate this new sized image that we're creating. This probably would be a good point in time to hit your run code button just to make sure your code still runs and you don't have any syntax errors. Now, after this line of code, I'm going to add the current wave image to the screen. And at this point, something's happened. Really? Really? Watch. When I press my G key, do you see that little tiny speck that appeared in the middle of your screen? If you look carefully at the middle of your screen, you should see a little tiny yellow speck. Can you see that little yellow speck near my arrow? Yeah, see the little yellow speck? Yes. And some silly student in 5th block goes, Mr. Booth, that's like some dirt on my screen. Thank you. Thank you, John. You're so funny. What? Huh? Yeah. So if you have a little tiny yellow speck on your screen, so far so good. You should have a little tiny yellow speck on your screen. And it will grow with the very next line of code. It'll grow uncontrollably. Because now that we've got it there, yeah, we should change the size so it'll grow a little bit bigger. Got it, Chris? All right. So, like I said, our next move then is going to be to make the image size increase. And this one will be accomplished with a wave image current size plus equals 0.01. We're going to add 1/100th to this. And just with that little bit of code right there, and I could put this after the comma. After the comma here, I could put this on another line and tab it out here so that it's all visible there. But now, when I press the G key, and it just keeps growing. I can't shoot anything. I can fly through stuff, but now the wave image will grow uncontrolled. So since the wave image is growing in an uncontrolled fashion, we're going to have to get it under control. That's going to involve an if statement. Check if the image has reached maximum size. Checking if the image has reached maximum size. That's going to be an if statement. If my wave image current size is trying to be greater than or equal to my, what do you think I want to use there? Does it make sense? Yeah. So if my current size is trying to be greater than or equal to my finished size, open curly brace, closing curly brace. If that's the case, I've got stuff I need to do. Actually, I have a bunch of stuff I need to do. All the rest of our code is going to end up right inside of this if statement. So if our wave image tries to be greater than our wave image's finished size, well, we got stuff we need to do. And actually, some of that stuff, the code already exists where we get our G key press. We need to move code from where we get our G key press down to here, because this is the point where we want things like setting game active to true. See those 3 lines right there? Comments and the game active equals true. I want to cut that. I want to cut that from right there. How do we cut? Cut. No, that's how you copy. How do you cut? Control X. But if you don't want to control X, you could also right click and select cut. But see how it all disappeared? Because I cut it. I cut it. Now I'm going to come down here, tab into the right spot, and I'm going to paste it and give me a couple of enter keys. I've pasted it. Now something new will happen. When I press my G key, I don't get to start flying until the wave image has hit maximum, but still it's on the screen and messing things up. But you'll notice that our player doesn't move until that wave image hit a certain point, and then we could start to fly. The next thing we need to move. This code right here that handles the music. All 4 of those lines. I want to cut those too. They're getting cut from right there. And they're all getting moved right here. So that'll be playing my background music. I cut it out of my G key. Now let's go clean up our G key. The only things I want left inside the G key now is going to be remove the press G key. Check this out. Take out that if statement. I want that if statement gone. This is what I want your G key code to look like. Remove the press G key screen, remove press G key. Clean up the screen, remove the start screen. Start the play wave number timer, set timer, play wave number, wave delay. And now you might be thinking things are okay, but no, they're not. Because the thing's still growing, isn't it? Well, we still have a few more lines of code to add down there in that if statement about if our wave image current size is greater than or equal to our wave image finish size. So back down here in that spot, right after background music dot loop equals to true, a couple of enter keys, and let's get some more code going here. We need to clean up the screen. We're going to remove the current wave image from the screen. We're going to set the image to null. Current wave image equals null. I've learned that if I type NU, Monaco Editor automatically types null. If I type CURR, Monaco Editor automatically types current wave image. I'm taking advantage of that while I'm doing my code here. It's still not going to make things stop, but this next line of code is stop the play wave number timer. Stop timer. I'm calling the play wave number function. And there's one more thing I got to do. I could play test this and show you what'll happen. But if I can get this all the way to, well, let me just, there we go. I press the G key. Where's my wave number? It didn't show up. See, first time, there's my wave number. If I die, press the G key, no wave number, but the wave number is supposed to come out. So what I need to make sure I do here is reset the image to its start size. So wave image current size equals wave image start size. Wave image current size equals wave image start size. Now that problem will be fixed. Press the G key. There's my wave number. I can shoot me a couple of enemies. I can die. When I press the G key, there it is again. Back on the screen. But if I clear a wave, it thinks I won. And that's because we have to go down to check element and we have to change that code down there where we detect a win. Instead of just detecting a win, we also have to detect, have we cleared all the waves? And if we have not cleared all the waves, we have to reset for the next waves. But the good news is we are now done with the play wave number function. We're done with that function. It's finished. Stick a fork in it. If your code's working like this at this point, you've done well keeping up with me. Sorry. Shall we play sad violin music? No, I don't have time. We don't have time for that. All right, Booth, don't start talking about your boring, meaningless life. When I'm done. Because time is money. All right. So like I said, we have to go down to the check element function. Because see, I've got a win right here. Now also, when I press the, well, God, I just put a Y right there. That's going to come back to bite me later. I press the G key. Everything looks like it's still working here. Yeah, everything does look like it's still working. But if I play it to a win, it's going to still think I won. So I'm going to go down to the check element function. There's the spot where we check for a win. Now we're going to check for all waves cleared. Instead of checking for a win, we're checking for all waves cleared. And it's all going to happen inside of this if statement. So the curly braces here are going to get stretched apart as I add lines of code in here. Lines of code that do stuff. Code stuff. So inside of this, my first move is going to be to increment my wave number. That's an easy one. Wave plus plus. That will increment my wave number. That's going to get me to wave 2 after I've cleared the first wave. I also need to reset a few variables. I thought about this. I might rearrange where this code is for next year, but for this year, it's where it's at. I'm going to reset enemy ship. I'm going to reset the enemy ship offset. Here's one of those rare times where I'm going to type something else in order to get what I want. There it is. I typed the word off, and there's what I want. Enemy ship offset. I'm going to set that back to 450. My third move, I'm going to set game active to, calm down, Booth, false. I'm going to set game active to false. Typing FAL, the Monaco editor will type false for you. Just on typing FAL, the Monaco editor will be like, do you want false? At this point, I've set game active to false. A mess will happen on my screen if I win. If I play this to a win, a mess will happen on my screen. So let's not make a mess. Let's find out, are there waves left? Question mark. If my wave is less than or equal to 3, opening curly, closing curly, then we're going to have stuff we need to do here. We need to reset, rest, come on, Booth, reset for the next wave. I have to stop looking at the clock. Reset for the next wave. 15 minutes left in school. Can I get it done? Can I get it done? I hope. Now, outside of the curly brace here, I'm going to put another comment. If we have waves left, we're going to have to reset for the next wave. Otherwise, all waves are cleared. You got a W. And so that's going to be accomplished with an else. Opening curly, closing curly. And I want you to move this code, setting got win to true and call the win function. I want you to cut that from right there, cut it from right there, and put it inside the else. And you're going to have to fix the tabbing to put that inside that else. Either you're going to have to reset for the next wave, else the only other possibility is you got to win. Now we added some curly braces. It's time to do a quick hit on the run button to catch any curly brace errors. Because if you have one, it's somewhere in here. It's either on this curly brace, that curly brace, or this curly brace, or that curly brace. This is a good moment to make sure you didn't make a curly brace error. That's the most common error that I see among students. So if I'm resetting for the next wave, there's stuff I've got to do. First things first, clean up the particles. Do we have a function for getting rid of the particles from our player? What's it called? Remove particles. Yeah. Now, we use that function when we lose a life. When we lose a life and we have to put a new life on the screen, we call that function to remove the particles there. But we're also using it when we've cleared a wave. This is an example of how, functions are not just used for one thing. Functions can get reused to accomplish, the same goal, but in a different context. Here, we're clearing out a wave. I want to clean the screen off, get rid of all those particles. I also need to respawn enemy ships. Do we have a function that'll spawn the enemy ships? Sure hope so, Booth, because we only got 13 minutes left. I know. What's that function called? Add enemy ships. And yes, we got a function that'll do that. That function will reload our enemy ship array with a bunch of live enemies, properly labeling them all. Because remember, as we shot them, we changed them all into null. So we've got to bring them back to life, the godlike powers we have. Also, we need to reset our player. We have a function for that already? Sweet. See, I'm getting to take advantage of functionality I already built in the past. These functions are lying around waiting for me to use, and they will just do their job. There's the reset player function. That's kind of cool. And we need to add instructions. How do we add the instructions? What was that thing called that has our instruction? It was Chris's problem at the start of class. Press the G key, unless you're one of those students who picked some other key because they want to be different. And then I've got one in every class just about. And then lastly, to wrap up this part of our code, we need to reset enemies remaining. Enemies remaining needs to be reset to numb enemy ships. And that will wrap up the if statement that handles starting the next wave. And we are so close to done. Feels good to be close to done. Now I'm going to play this to a win. At least I'm going to try to play it to a win. It's not looking good.
In the demonstration, it shows that the score keeps on going up instead of just going up by 20.
Yeah, but again, that's last year's, and obviously I got a defeat here. I'm a loser. We press my G key, starts back at wave 1. Ooh, look at those Jedi moves, he says as he dies. All right. Give me a little volume. Waka, 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 waka. All right, wave 2.
You missed.
Well, it's not looking good for Booth to get a win. But I'd sure like to. Do I have the skills? Do I have the bars?
Close.
I've almost got wave 2 cleared. All right, wave 2 is cleared. I've got to be good. I got to be on my game. But I got a defeat. So if I could have got to a win, I could show you the bug that I have. But I'm not going to play this again to try to get to a win. But there's a bug. I'll press the Y key here, and hey, we're back to wave 1, aren't we? Because when we press the Y key, I already snuck that bit of code in there, to reset us back to the start. But the last thing that I need to do here to wrap this all up, and this is going to be the final wrap up for this one. Now, I think there may still be a bug in here somewhere. Extra credit if you find a bug and you demonstrate it for me. So if you find a bug and you demonstrate it for me, I'll give you some extra credit. In the G key, all these conditions we have, you guys that know which buttons to press, if you press them fast enough, you can create a bug. And I caught this morning when I was making my first attempt to make this recording. I caught it. I had to pause the video. I fixed it. And then I went back and I decided, that one was like 45 minutes long, and I redid the video. Then, of course, my second try, no volume. Failure, Booth. So here we are, my third attempt. In these 4 conditions, pressing the letter G, game active is false, replay is false, quit is false, I want to add 2 more conditions. Because see, this year I've got these 2 new Boolean variables that affect delays in audio. And during those audio delays, I'm being allowed to press the G key because the conditions for pressing the G key they're met. And so I need to also make sure that .win has got to be equal to false, not slay, false. And what else do you think I need to make sure? Not got win twice, got lose. That got lose is equal to false. And that's the final wrap on that. The game should play, the waves should reset. If you would get a win, everything should reset and be ready to play again. If you find a bug, you can tell me it and I'll reward you with some extra credit, and I'll try to come up with the fix for the bug. But that's it. This is our side-scrolling game for 2022. That's it. So do make sure that you play test it. Make sure you play test it. Make sure everything works. You don't have any syntax errors. Get a lose. I'm going to get a lose here. Make sure everything still works. Still on wave 1.
close.
Oh my gosh. Devastating. Okay, let me clear that out. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. Hey, thank you for viewing. Don't forget to what? Like and subscribe. Thank you. That's right. Oh, and definitely, you want to get notifications so when Booth VR Studio puts out a new video, you know about it, right?
Yes, sir.